All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 357 SIG test. And today we're going to be doing double tap versus Underwood. So for that double tap, that one is the 125 grain Xtreme XDEF bullet. Does look very similar to your Speer Gold Dot. Has your standard brass case and is rated at 1,525 feet per second. And it does say that that is rated out of the 4.5-inch barrel. And for Underwood, that one is our 125 grain Gold Dot. That one has your nickel-plated brass, and that one's rated at 1,475 feet per second. So we'll see how close we come today. So we'll be using our full-size Glock 31. That one does have that 4.5-inch barrel, and we'll be going through our gel. That is a 10% block. We do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front, and like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head-to-head. First one up will be that 125 grain double tap. All right, we're still back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1524, so pretty much right on the money. It was rated for 1525 out of the 4.5-inch, so awesome to see for that double tap for sure. All right, so I definitely wasn't expecting that velocity because we have tested quite a bit of double tap here on the channel, and usually for the most part it comes under rated velocity, so that is awesome to see there. So there is that entry for that one. Looks like we've got a perfect hit, and you can see right down that cavity like always, and it looks like there's a huge star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that out. That is a huge stretch so far. It does look like there is a little bit of fragmentation, but it's dumping a ton of energy right there at the beginning. And then you can see it started to flatline, and we did not make it out of that first block. So let's see what kind of measurement we got on that one. So it does look like we did get a blowout here on the side, and then there is a little bit of fragmentation right there. So let's see from our widest spot. We are right at pretty much 3.5 inches, so that is a huge stretch from the top. Like always, we'll cut these open so we can get a little bit more accurate measurement here when we do our cross sections, but that is a ton of damage so far. And same thing from the side, check that out. So it looks like as soon as that thing came in, this one's pretty much exploded, dumping a ton of energy. That first half of the block, you can actually see a little bit of fragmentation right there. And then it did start to settle down a little bit towards the end, and we did not make it out. So let's see what kind of measurement we have right here, widest spot. So that one actually looks like it went to the very bottom of the table, pretty much to the very top of the block. So let's see. So that one is 4 inches from the side. So definitely a little bit more damage from the side than the top. So that one was definitely scooting along pretty good. Like I said, 1524 is awesome to see for that. And at our leading edge, let's see, we are right at 10.25 inches. So definitely not the most penetration. I know a lot of people aren't going to really care for that. But man, it's crazy the amount of damage that's actually dumping in that first half of the block. And this is a bonded round, and it does seem like it did come apart. So let's set up for that Underwood and see how that one does. All right, we're still back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1461. So we almost got advertised on that one. That one was 1475 for rated. You know, still not too bad, but it's definitely not touching that Underwood. So that stuff was definitely loaded pretty warm. So there is that entry for that one. So just like that last one, you can see right down in there some pretty big splitting going on in a huge star pattern. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, and same thing, looking really good so far. So those gold dots definitely leave a nice distinct cutting pattern through this gel. But quite a bit of damage so far. It did settle down a little bit towards the end, and this one we actually did make it into that second block, so definitely a little bit more penetration. And this one actually had to flip the block over. There was just so much damage from that double tap. I didn't want, you know, any of the tracks to collide, so I did flip this one just so we can get a nice clean look at that path. So let's see at our widest spot here. We are at, let's see, about 2.5 inches. So definitely not as much as that first one, you know, but still pretty good there. And definitely looks like this one held together also. So there is the entry on that one. So it looks like this one, as soon as it came in, pretty much immediately started opening up. Nice star pattern going all the way through that gel. Maybe that last inch or two it did start to settle down, and then we did make it into that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have on this one. So at our very bottom to our very top, we are just over 2 3/4 inches. So definitely not too bad. That's about average on what we're getting. You know, up to the peaks we're getting about 3.5 at some of the widest with these, but not too bad for that Underwood. Pretty surprising though, that double tap did come out on top on that one for you know, damage and velocity. Definitely not penetration, but awesome to see there. So let's see where that round landed. So it does look like it is facing upward, and our leading edge we're at 3 inches, so that one made it a total of 14 inches of penetration. So really not too bad at all. So let's get one last look from the top. All right, so like I said, we did have them going opposite ways because I didn't want them to collide. So this first one going away from us is that double tap, and then this one coming towards us is that Underwood. So here is that double tap. You can see as soon as that thing came in, pretty much exploded in there. You see quite a bit of fragmentation, dumping a ton of that energy that first half of the block. And then you can see that slug resting down in there in that first one. So not too much penetration, but a ton of damage. And here is that Underwood. That one came in and got some really nice expansion also. Some really nice star cuts going all the way through. And then we did make it out of that first block and into that second one. So quite a bit of penetration for that. So really good to see. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. So it looks like they both got some really awesome expansion. So the one on the right is that double tap, one on the left is that Underwood. So here is that double tap round. So you can see that thing open up really nicely. It does have a very distinct gold dot right in the center. Like I said, they are very similar to the gold dot, but it is actually the Xtreme XDEF bullet. But and it is bonded, so it's pretty surprising how that thing did come apart. But it was trucking out pretty darn good. But you can see the back, it did rip off pretty much every single one of those petals. Did get some really nice mushrooming, but that one did come apart for sure. Not too much weight retention left. So like always, we will, you know, get all the rest of the fragments and stuff here at the end, but not too bad. Quite a bit of damage for that one. And here is that Underwood. So this one definitely held together a little bit better. Got some really nice mushrooming. You can see that signature gold dot down in there. But this one peeled back absolutely perfectly, like they always do. You know, these ones usually perform very, very good. But you can see quite a bit of gel stuff down in there. Like I said, I will rinse these here at the end, get all our still shots and all that good stuff. But definitely picture perfect on that one. So really good to see for that Underwood. So I don't know what you guys think. That double tap was definitely, you know, bringing that extra energy, but that Underwood was definitely holding together. We're not able to actually get the Underwood right now as of this time. Hopefully, you know, Speer ends up letting their gold dots out again, so they start loading them. But anyways, so there we go, guys. That one was double tap 125 grain bonded defense versus Underwood 125 grain bonded, or of course that one is known as the gold dot. So there we go. Thanks for watching, guys. Actually, I did forget to show these one time from the bottom. So there they are from the bottom, double tap Underwood. And last time from the top, like I said, I will rinse these out and get all our screenshots and slow-mo and all that good stuff here at the end. There we go, guys. Thanks again. All right, so here's that cross section for that double tap round. That thing did a crazy amount of damage. You can already see fragments down in there. Huge splitting. This gel's pretty much barely hanging on at this point. And same thing on this other side. Ton of damage. You can see another big chunk of lead right there. I did remeasure these, and they are right at 4 inches, pretty much all the way around. So definitely pretty impressive there. So let's cut it open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom side is the right, this top is the left. So you can see pretty much as soon as this one hit, it came in and exploded. There's a massive stretch cavity going all the way through this chunk, like just a crazy amount of damage. You can see right down in there all that tearing. There was a couple fragments that I already picked out, and they are sitting right there. This one didn't hold together at all, even though it was a bonded round. Just the speed that it was going, it definitely couldn't take it. But check these cuts out. See a little bit more fragmentation down in there, but probably some of the most damage we've gotten from 357 SIG. It is very impressive. And same thing on the top. You can see it came in, started to parachute open, and same thing all the way through. Just a massive channel. There's some really small specks of lead down in there that's letting go. But man, that thing is crazy. And I believe there's another pretty large chunk. Yeah, it's pretty far down in there, but another large chunk of one of those petals. But check that out. That is pretty insane, the amount of damage that's going on. The thing was moving over 1,500 feet per second. So it's good to see that that double tap is actually, you know, going or doing what it's advertised to do. Very impressive. But man, that is a ton of damage. So let's do one more quick angle. This stuff is pretty much barely hanging on at this point, but you can see once again, just massive cuts, massive splitting all the way down in there. And it pretty much took up our whole block. Same thing on this side. Huge splits. There we go, guys. That one was that 125 grain bonded defense by Doubletap. All right, and here's that cross section for that Underwood. So this one was very impressive also. This one has some very uniform spiral cuts going down in this gel. Same thing on this side. Really uniform. I did remeasure these, and these are peaking right at 3 inches. So definitely not as much damage than that double tap, but it was still very impressive. So let's cut this open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So you can see right here, as soon as this thing came in, probably 1/4 inch, started to open up. You can see a nice stretch going all the way through. It did drag in a little bit of that cotton t-shirt, and there's actually some very small fragments of lead in there. That one actually did hold together compared to that double tap where it just kind of fragmented all over the place. This one absolutely held together and did a ton of damage. See quite a bit of that cotton t-shirt down in there. Very uniform cutting. Nice clean cuts like always. Did very good. Same thing on this top side, came in, started to parachute open. You can see that track going all the way through. And same thing here. Did drag in a little bit of that cotton t-shirt. But other than that, we got some really nice clean cuts. I guess it kind of drug t-shirt all the way through this track. Doesn't have the widest hollow. Well, I guess the hollow point cavity isn't as deep as most. It's pretty shallow. It is very wide, but definitely not the deepest. It is one of those deep curl gold dots. So hopefully Speer ends up letting those back out, so Underwood could start loading them again for us, because these always perform well. Even though those velocities weren't, you know, super impressive, they were still pretty good. So let's do one more quick angle. You can see here those nice clean cuts going down in there and all that fabric that it drug in. Same thing on this side. Definitely very impressive. So there we go, guys. That one was 125 grain gold dot loaded by Underwood.